So we're talking about a single arm, wrist height, cable, lateral raise. It's a mouthful. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? We're setting up the cable a little bit higher so that we can make this exercise a little bit harder in a more lengthened position, which is good for hypertrophy. And so how do we know that we're doing that? Well, something I want you to pay attention to is the relationship between the cable and my arm when I'm doing the exercise. And so when the cable and my arm make a 90-degree angle, that is where the exercise is hardest. And I'll show you what I mean while I do it. And so I want you to set the cable up so that when you stand next to the cable, right, not the pin, but the cable is actually right around wrist height. Right? It doesn't need to be perfect, and I'm happy to show you or talk you through your form videos if I think it needs to be adjusted. From here, right, you're going to grab the D handle with your inside arm. You're going to take a big step forward and a big step to the side, right? Now, I like to take a step back with my inside leg, but it doesn't really matter. I do recommend taking a step back with one leg. Otherwise, it's going to be too easy to kind of get pulled backwards. You're going to feel a little bit more stable with this staggered stance. You can put some more pressure into that front leg, etc. Right? You're less likely to fall back this way. Now, from here, as I raise up, right around this point where my hand crosses in front of my body, the cable and my arm make a 90-degree angle. It's a little bit hard to see, but right here you can start to see that that's not too far away from a 90-degree angle. And as I raise my arm up, the cable and the arm touch. And I really want to make this bottom portion of the movement a little bit harder because that's where the delt is a little bit more stretched. And that's a good idea generally for hypertrophy. And so if we keep this cable nice and high at wrist height, the bottom position will feel really hard. And as the cable and my arm get closer together, it will feel easier and easier. I'm going to show you from another angle, so don't worry. And so essentially what I'm doing is now raising in what's called the scapular plane. And that means, it sounds fancy, but it just means not directly to the side, not directly to the front, but somewhere diagonally to the middle, in the middle of those 2 points. And so again, just to recap, and then I'll show you some reps. Cable at wrist height, grab the D handle with your inside hand, big step forward, big step to the side, one step back, get stable, and then you're raising in that scapular plane, diagonal, right? Not to the front, not directly to the side, diagonally in line with where the cable is, and you're raising until you get right here to about 90 degrees, right? We're not raising up here anymore. We've done that in some other exercises, not with this one. And so we are raising right to 90 degrees and back down, right to 90 degrees and back down. And for some of you guys, that'll be right when the cable or something hits your arm, and that's a decent marker of the rep being over. But if you can kind of just think of right until my arm is perpendicular out of my torso, or horizontal or parallel with the floor, whatever helps you. So I'm going to show it to you from a slightly different angle with my other arm. Maybe there's something to see there. Again, starting by grabbing with the inside arm, starting at the side, take a big step forward, big step to the side, one step back, and I'm raising out on a diagonal in line with where the cable wants to go until I get to that 90-degree point. And you can try and switch feet and see what feels best for you. It really is a comfort thing. And you're raising right to that 90-degree point and back down. If you raise a little bit higher, it's not the end of the world. And so some of the mistakes that I'll see generally is raising, directly out to the side, not in the scapular plane like we just talked about. Having the cable too low, which again, it's not the end of the world. It's just something that I will see often is that there's a resistance to bringing the cable up a little bit more. It feels weird, and that's okay, and we'll talk about it. But once you're in this position here, you're raising right to that 90-degree point and back down. You're gonna let your arm go a little bit behind your body. You don't need to let it go all the way back here, but you are gonna let the cable pull your arm just a little bit behind your body and then raising back up to that 90-degree point right there. If you did it right, the bottom, the movement should feel really hard. And as you get closer to the top, it should get lighter and lighter and lighter. And you'll be able to kind of feel that as you go and as you get used to things.